With that, I've got a couple of images just talking about, just to kind of demonstrating some of the fun that we had. Who here was at Maker Faire in December? It's good to see that we have some people that were not at Maker Faire at the event to help build one again in the future. But we had a wonderful time, great turnout. This is a picture of the quadcopter cage, 3D robotics setup. It was a big, huge success, I would say. We had over 5,000 people attending in pouring rain, which for San Diego is extremely hard to do because no one goes anywhere when it's raining. But it was a wonderful time. And so, without further ado, we're going to get into the future events, what's coming up in the very near future, but a big focus of what we wanted to show for tonight's theme of the upcoming events is things that go blink. So we've been joined by 3 great presenters who are going to be showcasing what they've created. And to start us off for tonight, we have John Snyder, who is going to be showing his projects here.
I don't know if you want to say it goes blink. But ever since I was a little kid, I had this fascination with side lift. Since then, I just was, for that. But I've always been kind of in awe of light, bright things. Anything bright. I think I'm a hard squirrel. Oh, thank you very much. One thing that came to me is I've just been enjoying working with, light is the primary art medium, by the way, I should say. And I was really, really recently inspired by going up to Los Angeles to an artist whose name is James Turrell. There was an exhibit of his work at the LA Museum of Contemporary Art. It was absolutely amazing. He's a guy who just does art with LEDs. And as makers, it's kind of amazing. I had never heard of him. I read something about him. And he creates environments that are lit with LEDs that change colors in amazing ways. This is actually blinking, but just so fast we can't see it. So art is, in many cases, a manipulation of light, visual art at any rate. And I love drawing, and I keep the most important maker tool there is, and that is a notebook. And so I do sketches, and so a confluence of all kinds of things occurred. I joined a place that has a laser cutter and a laser etching device, and also has lots of woodworking equipment, and I started putting together my own side-lit signs based on the drawings and doodles that I've been making. This is a really simple one that just changes colors, and I can adjust it by attaching it to a computer. It's Arduino controlled, and it's very simple. It just has 2 layers that change colors in an opposite sequence, and I can stop it anywhere and save the colors that if I see a combination I really like. And it's constantly changing. Some of my other lamps that I have some pictures of that I think I can accomplish are interactive. One that's kind of cool has a little distance sensor and just changes color when you walk by it. Another one, you can rotate it, and it has a compass sensor that interacts and sends data to the Arduino and changes the color of the LEDs. So the idea is just to play with light and to play with technology, and all these things just came together for me. I really like the idea of layering the colors and getting these really high contrast. To me, it's extremely beautiful, and I really enjoy just looking at it. And more things to come. I was just mentioning, this is a real simple setup, and I'll show you the basic tools I use for this. It's really great. It's a little miniature Arduino called an Arduini that I make myself. And the company that produces these, Solarbotics, I was actually, my first couple that I made, I was putting together these controllers here that allow the Arduino to control the 12-volt LEDs. And lo and behold, they produced something, a little kit called a double rainbow that you can put an Arduini in, and it can control 2 channels. So it works perfectly for something like this. Inside this, attached to the control, the little device on the outside allows it to control the 12-volt LEDs. It made my life really, really simple. But my next step that I was talking about is going on to something called neopixels, which are a type of LED that is addressable, in which I can imagine making signs, or, what did I really say signs? But doodles, light doodles, where I could change the color up and down. So neopixels are next. Let me show you a couple other pictures, because that's just one, and I think I'm at the end. So that's this little guy here. My first one was really cool because it was just done with little LEDs off the shelf, and it has I think there may be a better picture here. Let's see here. I thought I sorted them when I put it in. But this is just the same principle, but each layer, there's actually 5 different colors in that one. And sure, it's very hard to photograph these, actually. But it is for me, at any rate. And the color contrast is really great. To me, it's a painting in light. There's a really great challenge I face. Let's see, I'm going back to this one. This is the interactive one here. And this guy changes color as you move far and near. One of the things I face that I'd love to hear from other makers, how you deal with it, is keeping them spotless as you layer the plexiglass. Plexiglass is a really great material. Actually, glass would probably be better, and down the road I'd like to work with glass, but it's really kind of tricky keeping it clean on the inside when you try to, so I have to lay all these out with a sheet over my kitchen counter and do my best to keep any kind of dust, and there's still a fingerprint or dust gets in them. Some of the things that they're certainly not innovations, but some little things that I've done to kind of make the light more intense is that I've managed to create some sort of brackets that hold the LEDs that kind of increase the length of the LED, and it actually has really worked. One of my prototypes is really bright because I'm actually scrunching more LEDs into a smaller space. And since these plates of plexiglass are sealed on the outside, I wish I could show you, with a reflective mylar tape, it really works well, and it actually makes the light bounce through the inside. And also this little layer right here, which I think you can see, separates the light beams so that the colors are more distinct. And that was one of the challenges that I still face, because I'd really like high contrast, very bright colors. I rambled. Can I answer any questions? I think it's the videotaping that makes me very nervous. Yes? No. Well, you know, they go in iterations, and the first time it doesn't work, which is a really important thing to know about making things, that probably the first, well, I think that's being generous to myself, the first 5 times it maybe doesn't work just right, and you put a few together. I don't know, 6 months, but that's not sitting down and working on it. That's just over a period of time, letting things dry. I think if I sat down and did it maybe 25 hours. I don't know. I never really think of it like that. They take way longer than they ought to take. But it's all enjoyable, so I don't mind. It's all fun. Yes? So this is, okay, so there's basically this box. And inside there is a row of LEDs and a microcontroller. And the LEDs fit kind of in this little nook like this. And then the plates rest on top. And then this little microcontroller controls the colors of the LEDs. And then I can actually plug it into a computer and change all the settings anytime I want, the speed or the coloration, etc. Yes. Yep. Yellow is one plate, pink is one plate, and actually I've done a lot of experiment. There's a lot of different ways to mix colors, actually. I've also experimented with turning the spaces toward each other, and you can actually have one plane have 2 different colors too, which is really kind of fun, and you can mix colors as well. I'm just really at the beginning of exploring with it. So these are just sealed inside, and I'm not really super thrilled with this metal container, but I haven't really, I mean, I'm evolving, okay, so I'm working beyond this metal edging because I think it's kind of discordant with the whole idea, but there's just plates that are sealed together, and then a beam of light is basically just passed up through the plates. And the engraving is what catches the light. Anything else? That would be really big scale, and I would really like to go thicker and brighter, because thicker is better, because it's kind of it gives you higher contrast. So I can actually not have any blending of colors at all would be really great. But you see, this one layer with these little dots right here is actually the same light source, but there's also ways to vary the coloration by how deep you engrave it, and whether you bevel your engraving, and also if you just do a straight engraving. So sometime down the road, I'd like to experiment with sandblasting, because I think that might give me an even different kind of undercutting and give various effects. I think it's kind of endless. I really like it. I'm all for that, except the only problem when you do something like that, then you start doing it on any kind of commercial basis, is, from my personal experiences, sometimes becomes less fun. Well, that might be, so okay, so you suffer through that, and that's true. So for that, absolutely, I'm open, I'll take commissions.
I like that we started at the 100,000.
I'll take commissions. So thank you very much, you guys, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's a real fun experimentation.
Okay. Up next, showing us some really cool stuff that I saw in picture form up until tonight. And there's a lot of meaning behind it, which I hope he goes into detail about. Kevin Herrera is going to show us next.
Just need a quick second to move it over here real quick to be presentable. Yeah. I want to take away from yours. Yeah.
And the live stream is going full speed ahead right now, so we'll all be able to watch this after tonight because it is being recorded and we'll have it for future use.
So the story behind this project starts from when I first proposed to my fiance. So later this year in October, I'm getting married. So with that whole marriage process, I decided I wanted to do something additional to basically make it more special. And since I'm a hobbyist and engineer, I decided let's use that knowledge and basically build something to make it a bit more unique. So what I came up with to start was basically this cube. So let me plug this in real quick. The idea behind this cube was that I have a centerpiece. The centerpiece itself was picked out to be a 6x6 kind of square with about 20 inches of height on there, and basically flowers at the very top. From that, I designed a wood base at the bottom. Within that wood base, there's LED strips. So each strip is about 6 inches in width all around the side. That then has the 4 plugins for the RGB lights and the 12 volts. This particular design here, I went ahead and did a combination of things. K and K represents my name, Kevin, and my fiance in Kenya. The ones and zeros is ASCII binary for I love you. It's something, yeah. I work with binary numbers every day. I do a lot of data encryption stuff, so it basically made sense for me, at least. From there, I decided to make the table number be represented as well. So for us, we're looking at about 13 tables total. So this is my first prototype being table number 1. With this prototype, I did make some errors and I did learn a little bit. So with the next revision, we're looking at having, for example, a bigger number on there, having the number ones and zeros actually presented a little bit clearer to see, so it doesn't get blocked off the edges. But ultimately, the general idea is there behind it. From that, you can see that the colors do change colors, or just go through an array of colors, since it is an RGB light source. But I decided that wasn't good enough. So from that point on, once I knew that I could actually get a proper design and lights changing back and forth, I decided to add wireless to it. So this little box right here next to it basically adds the wireless features. From here, this guy talks to what you can basically call a router, so a small little box down there. I can hook up multiple little nodes to it. Basically, all 13 will fit in there. And then from there, I decided to make it work off my phone. So the idea is I won't personally be controlling it. I'll just hand it off to someone else, DJ or someone to that respect. And then from there, so I'm going to load this up real quick. I can go ahead and manually control the color. So if I wanted red, if I wanted blue, into that respect, I can decrease or increase the intensity on there of the light. This allows me to touch it. turn off and on. So basic controls to that respect, and some default modes that are built into it. So that's just kind of changing of all lights, some blinking, and just different kinds of settings to that respect. So it's all controlled wirelessly via my phone. That is one example of one of the projects that I went with. From that point, I decided to add another element to that. What I've decided is to provide some kind of gift for the people showing up to their wedding, and I decided to make little nameplates for everyone. So the idea behind that is I'm looking at about a 2x4 little nameplate, same kind of wood base, but basically everyone's name would be etched into it, basically on the center for that. Thickness, we're looking at about 3/8, the same thickness as here, and that's based on the LEDs, powered off of batteries. This particular one here is powered off of just a little 12-volt connection, but this would allow me to do a wire connection, but at the same time, this controller does do just a direct power for 12 volts via battery source. So I can do either or, and that's what I'll end up doing for the actual wedding. Let's see. Apart from that, that's just two of my initial projects. I have some other ideas, but these are the main ones that are going to have LEDs incorporated with them. Any questions? Sure. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things also with prototyping. The first revisions of this particular guy here took me about a month or so. Time-wise, you're looking at about an hour and a half, or about an hour actually for the etching, because this does require a laser etcher to cut the numbers and design on there. The wood base, cutting it wise, super quick for that. What took the longest is the glue, to glue them together, because there's no way that I can actually cut a perfect square. I had to do 4 individual cuts and then glue them all together. So that took about a day or so at paint. So probably looking about a day and a half completely to do one. But if I did it that way, I can definitely pump out 3 or 4 within a 2-day period. Yep. Not in particular. That adds yet another element to the project. I figured just having the lights kind of in the background probably be best. There are different modes on this which allow me to change the colors much quicker. I just figured set to a very low setting, it's in the background, it's just not bothering everyone, kind of, changing too fast. Yeah. Yeah, I don't want that to be the focus of the wedding, yeah. Uh-huh. No, that was definitely something I wanted to do. So I know when it comes down to design, obviously you want to have everything nicely packed in there and so it's not in the way. When it comes down to logistics of it all, it's just very hard to put it in that little confined spot. I just decided to take the easy route and just have it be separate. That's when everything is set to on. So it just does the white one automatically if I don't have any kind of controller set up. So in this case here, this one's actually powered off a battery, so that's why it just defaults to white. Yes. Each one, yeah. So the idea is you can take it to work or home or whatever and just you put on your desk. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And for this one here, basically it's the same kind of concept, but it's much easier to make. Each cut was about a minute, super fast for that respect. It's probably cost-wise, you're looking at about $1.50, $2, so it's really, really inexpensive to make. There's a controller over here on the side, if you can kind of look from this side over here, and this guy's being powered off of a 12-volt supply. Yeah, found on eBay, China, basically for like $18. Looking at just the 12 volt with the RGB sort connection on there. So, yeah, But then from there, that talks wirelessly to the actual router portion, and then that decides if you have a grouping. So I can actually have 4 individual controllers on it. And then from there, if I were to group, say, tables 1 through 5 into one grouping, and then 5 to 10 to a second grouping, I can individually decide how each of those react. Yeah, there's actually a way to control it via the IP itself. So there's definitely ways of doing that, but I had no actual need to make that happen. But it's possible, for sure. Well, for that, I'm not an artist, so this is actually my first stab at anything graphical. So my first revision at this was actually kind of off when I made it, but ultimately I used a free software called GIMP. From there, it took me about 12 hours to do this, something that took me like 5 minutes after I learned how to do it. But ultimately, from there, I converted it to a PDF. That PDF works with the laser etcher or cutter, and just hit print from that point. It just works off of black and white. Whatever's black, it'll just cut through it. And it's set to an etching setting, so it just cut or etched exactly what the black line was. These are multicolor. Not in particular. I mean, for specifically the wedding itself, I just wanted to have something in the background. I mean, the control over the light can definitely be changed for whatever need you want it to be. I know there's definitely like a party seizure mode in this thing where it just blinks like crazy. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure. Like I know if I were to go over here and change the mode for it, I know there's like a blinking mode. Here, I'm going through them really quickly here, but something like that, and then I can definitely like make that much faster. And I think that's about the fastest that will handle right there for that one. But there's other settings. So there's like probably like 6 or 7 different settings this thing will go through. And that's all pre-programmed by someone else. That's just what it came with. I had definitely the option to add probably like an Arduino controller to it, like this guy here, John. But I just took the easy route. Yeah. Cool. So that's all questions. Pass it on to the next person.
Infinity mirror. Has anyone ever seen an infinity mirror before? Does anybody know what an infinity mirror is? So basically what the idea is, you create 2 mirrors. You got a regular mirror, and you put it in the back. And then in the front, what you do is you create like a 2-way mirror. Has anybody been arrested? Like when they question you, they got the 2-way mirrors with the police officers and stuff? That's the idea. You got a 2-way mirror. So you put a 2-way mirror in the front, and then a regular, normal mirror in the back. And then you put light in between there, and then the light bounces back and forth, basically into infinity as far as it'll go. And so we took that with the RGB multicolor LEDs, and then we created a special bulb out of ping pong balls. So we took a ping pong ball, drilled a hole in it, shoved an RGB LED up in there, covered it with hot glue, and then ran it out to our controller. Okay, so I think we're just going to show you, and then you guys can ask questions. Yeah, go ahead and hit the lights. Thank you. Turn the computer. Just turn it. Hopefully it works. Lights. So if you guys see it, it kind of bends off. So, and it's supposed to give like the effect, like, you know, like the box is only like 2 or 3 inches deep, but it's supposed to be like, you know, like 3 or 4 feet deep. Yeah, and that's what I'm working on. Is I got some other ideas, taking the ping pong balls and put them into an array of like, you know, like a square, and then creating like a really low resolution television out of ping pong balls. Just as a gimmicky thing. I wouldn't probably watch it at home or anything, but to get the video. But the thing is, each ping pong ball is individually addressable, so I can change the color and blink anything on and off at any point. I was hoping to get some nicer animations, but what's that? Yeah, each one's individually addressable, and what it has is I've created a custom board that uses TLC 5940 LED driver, and it just basically drives each chip individually. Because in order to drive an RGB LED, you have to have 3 pulse width modulated outputs or inputs in order to drive them. And what you do is you blend it just like you blend paint, where like you turn this pin on and off, you turn the red pin on and off, the green pin on and off, and the blue pin on and off at a certain rate. You know, 60%, 70%, 40% makes, say, like yellow. You know, and you blend them and they make cool colors. I think with RGB, with this style, I think you can make like 4,096 colors. So, do you guys have questions? Sure. Yeah, there's what we have here is the only ping pong balls that are real are the ones right here on the outside, and then it just bounces back. So all the balls you see in the background are all optical illusions. They're trapped in the side. I think maybe because I'm the last one, I might have like come up and take a look, because it's actually a lot more impressive, and like as you get closer, I think. As long as it's okay with Margie, is that okay? Can we do tour? Okay. So if you guys want to go ahead, we'll do questions first. Exactly. Something cool that you'll see, like, is the when my son was helping me glue the mirror, he glued it in crooked, and you know, we looked at it like, oh man, it's crooked, and then we turned it on, and the bend actually goes like in an arc off into the background. So that kind of looked cool. So it was a mistake that actually turned out to be a better effect than just the head on. Because when we got it head on, you can't see as far down the tunnel. Hit the music again. Any other questions? No more questions? Okay, if you guys want to come up, just take a look. Yeah, we just working on something where it looks like a motor in the background to move the mirror. And then as the lights are dancing, the mirror is moving in the background. It's making the bend arc around it. So just see, as you go up there, take a look, and then see how deep it looks, and then look at the side of the panel, and you can see it. It's a pretty cool effect. This is the song that he played for his LED cube at the Maker Faire in December, and we played this song for like 8 hours straight. So like no one else noticed because they only came by like one time to see the cube, but we're sitting there all day listening to the same song for like 8 hours. I hate this song now. Yes. Hot glue works really good. I've just tried to play with everything. I've ran them up through acrylic like you did, something similar to what you did, just not nearly as pretty though. I took a saw and chopped up a bunch of acrylic and shoved them in there. Hot glue actually works really good. I made candles out of hot glue to where the colors that I chose were just a bunch of different oranges and yellows, and then I flickered them. I just kind of like pulsed them to make them flicker like a candle, and I just took a bunch of hot glue, like the kind that dries a little bit more white, and I just glued it on top of there like a Hershey's Kiss, and then it looked really good. Tons. I can't get finished. I barely finished this at 5:30 and then drove down from Lakeside. So. Yeah, I hope so. I'm not really sure. I'm thinking maybe like if you get more like fancier mirror, like a more polished mirror, maybe it'll look better. I'm not sure what determines the number of bounces. Yeah, I know when I first did it and everything was real clean, I could see almost 18 levels, and now it's a little bit less. So I'm not sure if that's just deterioration of the. Because what we did was we went and bought some window tint from Home Depot, and that's how we made the glass here. The two-way mirror in the front here is actually just like the buildings, like the window tint you see on the buildings, where you can kind of see through when you get up close. And we just got a piece of glass from the glass shop and tinted it. What was your question?
I was going to ask if you've ever worked so
No, but I will. Yeah, the ping pong balls work really good. It was by an accident. I was trying to look for materials just to kind of like catch the light, and I was using like foam, and then I just came across a ping pong ball, and then honestly, I went online and I ended up buying like 600 ping pong balls from a distributor on. Yeah, it's nothing but ping pong balls. I got like a water jug full of nothing but ping pong balls now. So, any other questions? It doesn't matter. What happens if you get deeper? Right now, it's about, I'd say, like 2.5 inches. As you get, if you spread the glass and the mirror apart more, it just your iterations don't look as evenly spaced. So you get like a two balls gap. Because I tried that. I tried to like play that. Because one of my ideas I was telling him about it was that putting a motor behind the mirror and then playing with the bend as the bulbs are lighting up and down, you're also playing with the bend. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
All right. That's some cool stuff. I'm going to turn the lights back on here. So what we're going to talk about next is some of the upcoming events that we have in the near future that you have the ability to participate in various ways. We're always looking for more people to volunteer, whether you want to just help run the table. We've got this whole booth in a box concept going now, where essentially we have a road show kit to go to these style of kind of just events where we can set up and show a San Diego Mini Maker Faire booth. And what we have coming up in the very near future, this Saturday, is at North County Library, North University Community Library. There's a difference. And it is a micro maker fair, which means that the San Diego Fab Lab is going to be there with their equipment, and there's actually going to be, for the next 2 weekends, because one already happened. And to speak more in depth about this, I'm going to bring up Ewan, because she's just giving me direction from the back, so it's the best thing to do here.
Sorry, I'm a little unprepared. I didn't realize I was speaking today. I literally just found out 10 minutes ago. So it's a micro maker fair. What it is Fab Lab had loaned us a mobile maker space. It's parked at the North University Community Library off Judicial Drive. And so we partner with them and provide a bunch of different supplies, materials, and so anybody can come there and do different types of hands-on activities for the next 2 weekends for free. Just show up. We'll make robots this week. And then next week we'll do something for Mother's Day, just come out and have fun and learn about the equipment in the lab. Any questions? Yes. There's a laser cutter, a CNC machine, a vinyl cutter. We have an egg bot, yeah, and computers and other things that people bring to show. Yes, Margie. Yes, so if you would like to show the things that you made, like some of the people did today, you're welcome to email Katie Rass at katie@fablabsd.org and show, make sure that there's a table for you to present or show off your creation. Yes, Kevin. That's true, or you can also email me too, and I'll probably be up on Meetup and check out the comments there as well. So hopefully, I hope everyone can make it out there. It'll be from 9:30 to 2:30. So just have fun, hang out. Any more questions? Okay, cool. Sorry, I got stage fright.
Wonderful. No, there was no stage fright there. Okay. The next event that we have in the near future is something that I was very excited about. It involves an astronaut. And to talk about that, we have Kevin Herrera, who you saw present a little while ago. He's actually going to be the team lead for our event at Balboa Park. And to talk about that and what we're going to be doing there, and pay special attention to that volunteers needed section, because I think we still need volunteers to staff.
Yeah, so basically we're looking at two shifts for that day, from 9:30 to 12, and then from 12 to about 2:33. The morning shift is going to be for setting it up and shooting rockets. So the idea,
So the idea is we have some pre-printed paper rockets. Physically there, we're going to cut them up with the kids, basically tape them up and then shoot them up in the sky. So if you like shooting paper rockets, we definitely need more bodies there to help cut the paper and then shoot them. Also don't want the kids cutting them and hurting themselves, but want to end that. The second half, same idea, shooting rockets and then the tear down. Anyone who does show up, they do get a free pass for the rest of the day's events. So I know they're having the event from 10 to 2. So if you help out in the morning, you can go ahead and then jump in for the rest of the day's events inside the museum. Same thing works for the afternoon. Just walk in the morning, enjoy the day's events for that, and then come help us out after that point. For volunteering wise, you can contact me directly at my email, which is my first name dot last name 88@gmail.com. You can also email Margie. Either one will work just fine. Or you can talk to me directly. That'll work too. Questions? Yeah, what is your... And if you can't write that down, feel free to talk to us. We'll write it down for you. No problem. So, sorry. One more your email. Yes. And then mine is first name dot last name, so Kevin Herrera 88@gmail.com. Cool. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you. Astronaut Woody Spring is the astronaut that's going to be there as well. It's going to be a lot of space activities happening that day. And coming from experience, having participated in one of the rocket launching situations that we found ourselves in already, it's going to be a great time. You can see them from very far away, and I think out where we're doing this, you have space too. There's going to be a very high ceiling, so definitely check that out. So the next thing that we have coming up in the near future is actually an event at Del Mar Fairgrounds. It is the Del Mar Electronics and Design Show. It's a great place to just see lots of different types of companies and lots of people showcasing different technologies. But what's really great about this event is it's free to get in and free to park. So this is April 30th and May 1st, and there's, we're getting to the time of year where there's something that's happening essentially every weekend. But this was another great event that I wanted to showcase because it brings out a lot of different technology partners from the San Diego region. Has anyone been to this event in the past? Or yes, worth going? Yeah. Yeah, it is an electronics-focused show for sure, so thank you for that. But coming up April 30th and May 1st, and like I said, free. So, Open Source Maker Lab is a pretty cool thing that I've been following for a little while. That one of our people from San Diego Mini Maker Faire, Dan, has been working on, and it's kind of the baby that he's been birthing for a few months now. So to talk a little bit about Open Source Maker Labs and what they have going on in the near future, I'm going to bring up Dan here. Also found out he was speaking about 10 minutes ago.
Yeah, so. It'll be fresh.
Sure. Okay.
Thanks, Jose. I appreciate the opportunity to talk a little bit. I got the idea to start yet another makerspace in the area. I think background is I'm a recovering engineer, serial maker, parallel maker too. I have several projects going on always at the same time. Got involved in FIRST robotics with my kids about 3 years ago, and I was kind of down the rabbit hole after that. That's when I found that so many people are interested in STEM, that a lot of our young folks are trying to find opportunities to learn more and do more and make things. And just kind of one thing led to another. I discovered that I've been a maker all my life. And lots of other people like myself have a lot of great experience. I call myself a high mileage engineer. We have a lot of experience that we like to share with young people of all ages. So I started building a lab. So we're in the process right now of finalizing an actual physical space. We're also working with both the City of San Marcos and City of Vista to narrow it down to a final site selection up in North County. We also have had some wonderful partnerships that we're starting with Cal State San Marcos and Vista Unified School District and several libraries and the Girl Scouts. There's a lot of folks that are out there that really want to learn STEM and learn making. So we're also looking for instructors. If you are passionate about sharing what you know and like to pass that on to several generations, young and old, please take a look at our website or send me an email, dan@opensourcemakerlabs.com, and we look forward to working with the community. There's one other aspect of the makerspace that we really want to emphasize. It's not just another building with a bunch of high-tech equipment in it. The real secret ingredient that we're trying to pull together is the community. It's a community-based makerspace. So it's not just the technology. It's the goal we have is to have a community membership where people are openly sharing their ideas and helping each other out. The way I'd like to see it is you come in an evening or on the weekend and you see people of all ages working on all kinds of different projects, crazy things, and they kind of discover each other and say, hey, what are you working on? Oh, that's kind of cool. Well, I know a little bit about that. Oh, great. Well, I was having a problem with that. And people will naturally start to help each other out. So our tagline is, we make makers. So I really hope to help the maker community in the county and grow and do a lot of great teaching and some really cool projects. So I hope to see you up there. Thank you.
Thank you, Dan. So this event that is happening at Balboa Park, it's, Balboa Park, I think it is the largest Earth Day festival in America. It was a couple of years ago, at least. I know ours is very gigantic. And we have the opportunity of having a table at the event. But we need to know by essentially tomorrow if we want to have a table at this event. And this is the table that we have to pay for. So after we're done here tonight, you can either talk to myself or Michael up here who's running the live stream. If you're interested in running a table, I believe it's April 27th, so this weekend. It's essentially during the day, in the morning, and we'll be there probably, I think it's 7:30, 8 a.m. arrival, 10 a.m. and it'll be an all-day thing where we actually run the booth for Mini Maker Faire. We'll have the booth in the box type of kits. But if anyone's interested in running a table with us this weekend, please feel free to talk to us after the event today. So that concludes the rest, the upcoming events section. So what we have here is just a little reminder about anyone going out and wanting to congregate after tonight's event, because we do have to leave this beautiful, wonderful space at 7:45. There will be a group of people going to Lolita's, which, according to Google directions, which is getting totally washed out by this projector, is a less than 1 minute walk away because it's literally around the corner. So Lolita's Taco Shop is where we're going next. And with that, we have a section for other news and social time. So we're about to get to the point where the lights all come back on and we all talk and converse amongst ourselves and get to know each other better. But there is some other news about a future version of San Diego Mini Maker Faire. Right now, it is tentatively in place that we're looking at October of this year as the time frame at Del Mar Fairgrounds to have another Maker Faire. Another Mini Maker Faire like we did, with the goal being to be much bigger, multiple days, and just a larger impact of a presence altogether. So it's still getting put together, still, you know, everything's still in flux, but October is the time frame that is currently being researched. And so you can stay tuned for further news and updates about how that's going as we continue to meet for the next couple of months, because we've worked with Ewan and Margie to coordinate this space, I think, for another couple of meetings. So that is what we have in the near future, is that October is the tentative time frame. So that's very exciting news for those of you that are looking forward to it like I am. Yes, Margie. Yes, Kevin. Every time, I think. Every time, pretty much. Yes, so with that, I'd like to thank everybody for showing up, all 300 of you that showed up for our event tonight, and thank the library for hosting us and giving us this wonderful space for the immediate future. The third Monday of every month, this is where we'll be. So again, thanks for coming out, and that's all we have for today. Thank you.